Hi, today's chat is about the Junkers 87 Stuka dive bomber. This bomber first came into production in 1937 and was produced for most of the war, production ceasing in September of 1944. Junkers company produced 559 of these bombers. Wesser, under contract, produced 5,100 in '93, almost 10 times as many. The bomber was significant because it introduced several new features as a dive bomber into combat. There were air brakes, which were located under the forward leading edges of the wings. There was an autopilot when the plane dived nearly straight down and pulled out of the dive when it released the bomb. Then the autopilot is what put the airplane back up in a level flying position, because frequently the pilot's blacked out due to the G-forces from pulling out of the dive. Underneath the bomber there were levers that attached to the bomb and swung it clear of the large propeller. And then that was located right between the landing gear, and this bomber had fixed landing gear, which was unusual. Most of the airplanes were being converted to retractable landing gear at this point. But in this case, it was an advantage. It's a much stronger type of landing gear, allowed this airplane to land on very primitive fields and to follow the Army very closely across Europe. It also had spats on the wheels, which were supposed to be aerodynamic, and when they got into muddy situations, they collected mud and were oftentimes removed from the airplane in the field. And the landing gear also mounted two sirens, which gave a very unsettling, wailing noise when the bomber went into a dive. It was a great psychological weapon. And as a result of these features, the Stuka became known as a symbol of Nazi power in the early part of World War II. 9 of these planes fought in Spain, but interestingly enough, these were the only planes that the Germans did not allow the Spaniards to fly. When the Germans came back from fighting in Spain, they left Messerschmitt 109s and Hinkel 11s behind for the Spanish to use, but they took all of their Stukas with them. 366 of the planes were available to fight in Poland. 31 of those were lost, and that was the war that traditionally is considered the beginning of World War II, and this plane was there at the very beginning. And on the next chat, we'll follow through with additional exploits of this plane in the Second World War.